Hey, what's up, everyone? This is just a random video on thoughts about life. What is this? I mean, look around you right now. The sky, the earth, we're all here. It's strange. I mean, it really is strange if you really think about it from just an outside perspective, if you could have that. What is this? These fleshly bodies we have, the laws of logic and nature, all of this is odd, at the very least. And I totally understand why people want to believe in supernatural things like gods and magic and miracles, because let's face it, this is strange. It's strange that we're here. It's strange that I'm having this conversation, that I'm a collection of hundreds of trillions of individual cells acting in a fashion of a single organism, even though I'm not. I mean, it is odd. It's very odd. And, you know, one of the things I don't like about modern perspectives on atheism, or not just modern perspectives, but perspectives on atheists in general, is that we don't have any sense of awe or wonder in the universe. And in that we are just on hell bent on disproving gods and miracles and magic, and that we don't we are close to the perspective that there's something beyond the natural world we see. And personally, I found that to be the furthest from the possible truth. I mean, this is strange. This thing we are experiencing, that is life, this existence, and we this collection of cells that I am, that lasts for 70, 80 years in the scope of billions of years in the universe. The idea that one day I'll be gone, just like I was gone before I was alive. I was not existent before I was alive. And the idea that maybe all this possibly is meaningless, it's very overwhelming, when you really think about it. I mean, it's so strange that who knows? Maybe the universe is magical. Maybe the base of reality. Maybe we'll dive down. I mean, if you look at where we are right now, technologically speaking, we are on the cusp of being able to edit DNA. Actually, we can already edit DNA, but conceivably in 100 years, maybe even sooner, we may be able to actually rewrite DNA completely. Maybe eliminate all disease. Maybe change our genetics and add new features to ourselves. I mean, this is borderline magic, isn't it? I mean, it's like the idea that you could essentially make a system that changes the base of your genetic material. I mean, and if science and technology continues on, and we dive deeper and deeper into the essence of reality, I mean, conceivably we could get to the point where we are essentially able to assess and edit maybe the fabric of space-time itself. I mean, what if we could get to the point with technology where we can actually edit reality itself? I mean, conceivably, I don't see why this is impossible. And then when you get on that level where you're able to basically edit reality, essentially, I mean, at what point are we not able really to distinguish magic from this? I mean, what if reality is based on some type of magic? I don't know. And I think this is an important understanding for people to understand, people who are atheists. It's not that we don't want these things to be true. It's not that we wouldn't like them to be true. I think it would be awesome for the world to be governed by some magical force and it might be, and it's possible to tap into it. Maybe that's what science is. Maybe science is the tapping into this magical force, and we're unlocking these forces. You think of like Harry Potter with magic wands and incantations and spells, and how they're able to do these things. I think that's cool as hell. Who knows? Maybe in the future we'll have some type of magic wand where we can edit the fabric of reality itself. And there's a saying that says that a sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic because it appears to be magical. Sometimes I know people who think like televisions and computers are magical, right? They don't understand the base fundamentals of them and how they work and operate, so to them it appears to be magic. And at some point, where do you get to the point where it's like almost indistinguishable, where the technology gets so advanced and our understanding of reality itself gets so far advanced that we essentially are magical in some respects? Especially when you get in the area of deep learning AI and what that means for technological growth and these types of things. What if we get technology that solves all these problems for us, and like we're able to basically rewrite history itself, rewrite time? I mean, I love the idea of Harry Potter, the Harry Potter universe, and these magical elements, and I love the idea of one of my favorite movies is Bright with Will Smith, and that was the first movie I ever saw that really opened my eyes up to this concept of magic. In the movie they have like a magic wand that if you can wield it, you can basically do anything you want, but you have to basically pair with that wand or it will destroy you. And I love the idea. I love these ideas. And one of the saddest things I've experienced as an atheist is people's automatic knee-jerk reaction to me as an atheist, that I am just a cold, calculated person, that all I care about are the facts. But yeah, all I do care about is the facts. But the truth is, I think it'd be so cool if base reality turned out to be magical. I think it'd be awesome if, for whatever reason, maybe there is something after this life. Maybe we continue on. And there's some type of essence of us, or that sounds kind of cool on some levels. But I think what distinguishes me from many people is that just because I want something to be true doesn't mean that I'm going to assume that it is, right? Just because I think it would be cool for magic to be real doesn't mean I'm going to assume that it is. In fact, the very fact that I like this idea, that I think it would be awesome, gives me even greater pause to believe in it, because I know our propensity is to, if we want something to be true, we're going to look for information that will support that idea. We're going to look for that. It's selection bias. We're going to count the hits and ignore the misses. So anytime you want an outcome to be the case, in those cases you have to be even more extra skeptical before believing it, because the truth is, I just want to believe whatever's true, right? I don't want to just settle for an easy answer just because it makes me feel good. Would the idea that we survive death and there's a heaven and people and everybody goes there, would that idea make me feel good? Sure. Especially if I lose somebody who's close to me, I understand the desire to want to believe in these things. But the problem is if all you do is accept the easy answer, and the answer that makes you feel good inside, you run a very serious risk of never being able to discover what the true answer is. We saw this in human history. A great example is lightning and thunder. For a long time in human history, our ancestors did not understand what thunder was or what lightning was. To them, it appeared to be magical. So they created a belief system that answered the question, which was, they created this god called Thor. And in fact, we have a whole day dedicated to this. Thor's Day, right? This was an entire religious system. People made sacrifices to this god Thor, right? They had temples built for this god. God existed for thousands of years and was worshipped as a god. All because people weren't comfortable with not knowing the answer to how thunder and lightning were created. So this god essentially was a placeholder. Hey, mom, dad, what is that? Oh, that is the result of the god Thor. Thor is the cause of this. And most people were happy to accept that as an answer, right? Because it's sometimes better just to have an answer, even if it's not necessarily a true answer. But the problem is if all you do is accept that as an answer, you'll never actually discover what the real cause of that is. Thankfully, some people were not willing to just simply accept that as the answer, and they wanted to find out what the true answer was. And because of that, we now understand how lightning works. We now understand how thunder works, and we can apply that information to other areas of science. And this has added to our knowledge of how electricity works, which has helped build foundational parts of our understanding of microprocessors. And all of this became because someone was unwilling to just accept the answer that made them feel the best. So this is why I say it's not enough just to have an answer. Because here's the truth. Does the idea that there is a God in the heavens known as Thor, who basically is responsible for lightning and thunder, or whatever it is, does that answer the question of what that is? Yeah, actually it's an answer. And technically, if it were true, it would answer the question. But it's not an actual answer. This is the same argument with whether or not a God exists. Or, hey, why are we here? Why are, I start opening this video with talking about how strange reality is. So there's a legitimate question. Why is all this here? Why are we here? Why am I having this conversation? Why are we thinking agents? Why is all this? And there's propensity for humankind in their search for the easy answer to just simply, say, there's a God, and he did it, right? Why did the universe start? Oh, there's a God, and the God did it. Does that answer the question? Is it an answer? Well, yeah, on one level it is an answer. I mean, yes, if it were true, it would answer the question. But here's the problem. Even if there were a God, even if the God did those things, it's the answer God did it is still not an actual answer. It doesn't actually explain any of the actual processes that happened. And see, I found that if you stop just simply accepting the easy answer, the answer that you want to hear, then it's only at that point that you're able to actually learn and grow and find out the actual real answers, right? It's until you pull your head out of the sand and face reality for what it is that you are able to actually learn about reality itself. And this doesn't apply just to science and to the creation of the world. This applies to all kinds of subject matters. If you're in a relationship and the relationship isn't and you're seeing red flags, you're seeing things that need answers, there is of course this understandable desire to just simply put your head in the sand and pretend like it's not there. Pretend like those red flags aren't there. Pretend like the things that aren't lining up aren't there. But the problem is, if you just simply ignore that for the sake of wanting to have an answer in your mind that makes you feel better, like if your partner's like drops off on texting suddenly at 8 o'clock and doesn't get back to you until the next morning, and they say, "Oh, my phone was dead." Okay, that's fine, but that happens time and time again. As an example, you might be tempted to be like, just ignore it. Oh, there's nothing going on. But, and that might make you feel better in the temporary, but there's, as the old saying goes, you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And I feel like that this is the case with religious belief systems and gods, supernaturalism, magic. I get it. These are quick answers that make you feel better, right? That even make you feel excited because, oh yeah, hey, I can believe that magic is real or gods are real, and this not only makes you feel good, feel better, but it makes you feel good. Like, makes me feel excited that reality itself is based on magic. But the problem is there's two problems with that. Is if it's not, then you might miss the opportunity to. The main problem with this is if it's not what you have concluded that it is, then you may miss the opportunity to actually discover what it actually is. And we're dealing with this right now as a species. We are in the process right now of creating brain-to-computer interfaces that have the potential in the future to essentially create a silicone-based eternal life for us and our consciousness. And it might be the superstitions that are the only things that hold us back from those things. Maybe it's not possible. Maybe it's not possible to duplicate our consciousnesses and connect them to computer systems. Maybe there is something more to the conscious than the physical. But you'll never know these answers until you ask the questions. And I think for me as an atheist, it's not that I don't want there to be a God. It's not that I don't want there to be gods and magic. It's just simply I haven't yet seen the evidence to draw those conclusions. And until that time, sometimes the only answer you can give in life is I don't know. Why are we here? Why look around you? Why is all this the way it is? Why are we having this conversation? What is all this? Well, and I know this is not going to be, it's not a super convenient or lovely answer, but sometimes your only answer can be, I don't know. And I think that's if you really think about it, that's a much more satisfactory answer than just simply giving an answer. Because hadn't we done that with lightning, for instance? I may not be able to be interacting with you with this. We may not have cell phones. We may not have technology at all. Had somebody simply not just suspended their belief in the answer that was given to them, that was accepted. And I think that's the point of this video. Sometimes you just simply have to say, I don't know. It's strange. And this is why I have sympathy for people who believe in God. This is why I understand people who have these beliefs. I understand you. I understand that this is something that makes you feel good internally and it's something you want, and I relate to you. But because I value truth and I value a desire to pursue the truth, that I only want to believe true things. It's for this reason I can't just simply believe it. Maybe one day I'll have the information I need and I'll be able to believe in certain things. Maybe I won't. But I feel good knowing that I am withholding belief until such a time that it's been demonstrated to me adequately. And it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like an honest person. It makes me feel like a person who values truth and lives a life of integrity. That I'm not just willing to just simply believe something because it makes me feel good or because it makes other people feel good. I am sticking to my values and sticking to my commitment to the truth, commitment to understanding reality, understanding what is really around me. And for me, I think that's important and empowering. And I've said before in another video that if there's a God, I would hope that God is a decent being. That God could at least have enough understanding and thoughtfulness and consideration to say, look, I get it. I didn't provide you with enough information. You had questions. You weren't sure, so you didn't believe. I understand that. And you know what? I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate the fact that you were willing to withhold your belief, even in the face of fear, even in the face of intimidation. You're willing to withhold your belief simply because you valued the truth that much. And I've kind of told a joke before, what if it's the atheists are the ones who end up going to heaven? What if the atheists are the only ones who do go to heaven? Because they were the ones who lived a life of moral conviction in the spite of fear, in the spite of loss, in the spite of these things. They still withheld their belief because they didn't have enough information to come to the answer. And my hope is, if there's a God, that is the case. That if there's a heaven, maybe we're going to be the only ones who go. Ironically. You know, I like to think about it this way. What if, you know, a more simpler approach, what if your entire life is just a job interview in the real world? And you're hooked up to some machine right now, and your employer is running a test to see how you will live your life, whether or not you will just simply follow what other people tell you to follow just because it makes you feel good, or because of other motivations, that you'll set aside your moral convictions and integrity just to make yourself, other people feel better about you. Maybe this entire life is a test of your integrity. And maybe it's the atheists are the only ones who get the job. Wouldn't that be ironic? When you wake up from at the end of your life and it was just a job interview. I know this is a random video, some random thoughts. Love to get your feedback on it. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching Positively Atheist. Keep it positively atheist out there, everyone.